Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back. This is another Roma Press live stream. We are recording this right after Roma draw 1-1 against Lazio in the Derby della Capitale. So obviously don't I mean it's we don't really feel anything, do we, guys? We expected when I was here yesterday recording the preview live stream, I said that it would be great to be back here sitting with all of you and feeling good about it, feeling happy that the team has won, that the team has done this, that the team has done that, that the team has fulfilled our expectations for what was a crucial match for the race for top four. Obviously, before that, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to our newest patron, Martino. So, Martino, if you're watching, thank you so much. Again, just a quick reminder to those of you who have just joined the live stream. This format, I'm doing this format in John's absence. Obviously, as soon as he's back, I would love to start to do the podcast again. But as long as John is out of action due to a prolonged medical emergency, then I continue to do these. Hopefully, we can get some good interactions in tonight despite this sort of mediocre performance lackluster result. I hope that tonight we can get together, come up with something constructive. And obviously, if you're new to this channel, subscribe, give this video a thumbs up. If you like what we do at Roma Press, again, this is just a reminder that it's just the two of us, So that's why when one of us is out of action, the machine takes a bit longer to get into the swing of things. If you'd like to support us, you can do so by becoming a patron at patreon.com/Roma Press. Really, it means a lot to us. We appreciate the support. I'm just going to be reading off the chat, guys. As always, if you have a question or just thoughts, please share them in a civilized manner in the chat, and I'll make sure to read them out. So thank you so much for everybody's support. Those of you who have joined before the live stream even started, my good friend Jeff, who is already asleep, but as he says, gives VR a blank check this summer. As John would say, inject this video of his face after the conceded goal into my veins. Sviar is a winner. Sviar is an absolute winner, and there is a reason why he's the first one to go in front of a microphone. He wins the MVP award for tonight, and the only thing he can say is, I would take the 3 points rather than this award. Thank you very much. That is a man that wants to win, and you have to reward him with a new contract. Mazin, our good friend Mazin, also. Hi, Andy. Please pass my regards and best wishes to John. Thank you so much, Mazin. I will. I think we can't argue that Lazio had the most chances to seal the game if it wasn't for his VR. Goodness gracious, another comment. Miles VR is a messiah. The way this guy commands the defense, his menacing eyes, the eyes of VR would be a sick nickname. Best derby goal I've ever seen. That Sule goal was pure chef's kiss. Yeah, I absolutely agree with you on both counts. VR is undoubtedly, in terms of charisma, in terms of guys who play like they mean it, and they actually back up everything that they show in attitude, they back up with performances. That's VR. 100%. This VR is allowed to do anything on the pitch because he's just that good. He proves time and time again that once you find a good goalkeeper, a goalkeeper will save your life. A goalkeeper will be the backbone. The goalkeeper is the backbone. He is the shield that gives the team protection, structure, and without this security, forget about it. Forget about any kind of result. Unbelievable season that he's having. So I agree with you. And also, Matias Sule, I'm so happy for this guy. I said it in this in the patron reaction that I recorded, which you can also access if you become a patron. I said that this definitely, in my memory, one of the most beautiful, most remarkable goals I've seen in a derby. Probably even better than Pellegrini's free kick from a couple of years ago. Really wonderful, wonderful goal. So I'm very happy for Sule, because the pressure that he faced to begin the season with, the struggle that he found in getting the consistent playing time that he was hoping for when he signed for Roma. This is all paying off now. Like this, he's found his groove, and a goal like this is just a testament to his abilities that were there for everybody to see last year, but they took a bit time to come out this season with Roma. Ciao, Andy. Best wishes to John. Thank you so much, Kevin. I appreciate it. A draw isn't the worst result, but it's not the best either, especially after the draw with Juve. Vincent, hi Andy. Wasn't our best game today. Also, I think Ranieri can time and improve the subs, as I would have liked to see Elsha and Baldanzi a bit earlier, not change Baldanzi for Dovvic. I agree. If there is something that can be said about recent games, and also with the one against Juve, I think both. We can get to that later, but I do think that they're very similar in terms of just the energy that was missing to begin with. In both games, Roma came out slower than the opponent. In both games, Roma conceded initially and had to claw their way back into the game. In both games, once they equalized, they almost stopped trying to win, which is disappointing. Um, I said in this reaction for the patrons, it you can draw. You can draw in these games. It's fine, because I mean, a draw against Juventus, it's good. I mean, you will end up this season with unbeaten against Juve, and you'll end up unbeaten against Lazio. That's a positive, sure. But you are playing both games with the awareness that you have to win because of those 3 months that you wasted at the start of the season. And so you drove yourself into a position where you just have to do better than what Roma did, both tonight and against Juve. It wasn't enough. And I was not happy again with the reaction of the team following the goal. You get that equalizer, and Roma in both matches, they seem to be retreating. All of a sudden, they get the equalizer and they retreat. All of a sudden, they start to shut up shop and hope that Milos VR will keep the ball out of the net, and that's just not good enough, especially in these instances. So that is my main criticism. The subs as well. I said it after the match against Juve. You know, a sub for Dovbik with Baldanzi coming on 5 minutes before the end is just what are you hoping to achieve? El Sharawi coming in at the 90th, really? So yeah, definitely. If there is some criticism that I can point to in Ranieri's decision making, then the subs are definitely something that we could have done better with. Richard, hey Andy from New Mexico, thank you so much, Richard, for joining me. Damn, two in a row, missed it by this much. And Sviar is right. This was a useless result. Yeah, it's nice. It's nice to have someone, a player, who acknowledges that it's not that great. I didn't like the fact that Shomurodov came out after the match against Juve and said, "Yeah, a draw against Juve is not that bad," because that's something that a fan can say, but a player should always want to win. And again, given the moment, you have to read the room. Whether you're a fan or a player, you have to read the room. You have to read the situation. So a draw against Juve to start the season with is wonderful. But a draw against a Juve side or Lazio side that are fighting for the same objective, and you're entering the final 7 weeks of the season, that's just not, it's not going to cut it. It doesn't have the same ring to it. It doesn't have the same effect. So I'm glad that we have Sviar who can bring us back to earth sometimes. So how's John doing at the moment? Guys, I don't know if I'm at liberty to disclose certain things. I'm in contact with his family and from time to time with him, and That's I can only leave it at this. So, but all the messages of support are very much appreciated. So thank you so much. Really, I always pass it on, so it makes a difference, guys. Um, Wasted first half, no Sule, no goal, and we go home crying. The first half looked like the wheat mentality we use to have. Why again in big game we go down and shift gears? It's just not good enough, says Angel. It's something that we listen with Ranieri. We've exceeded expectations. If you look at the number of points that we collected from Ranieri's appointment onwards, it's unbelievable. So this doesn't even these two results are not a stain on what Ranieri has been doing at Roma. I don't hold it against him. Should the team have done better in certain instances? Absolutely. But unfortunately, we always go back to the same question of we are paying for the mistakes that we made at the beginning of the season. And so we can be here and we can act frustrated, we can act angry, but at the end of the day, we're not only angry at this result, we are angry at the fact that we cannot afford such a result. Hope John gets better soon. Thank you, Angel. Jerome, ciao, Andy. I just hopped in to say that I won't be here live today, but I'll check it out tomorrow. See you next live stream. Thank you so much, Jerome. Thank you so much. Take care of yourself. What type of superhero character would Milas VR be? I have no idea. I'm not a big superhero fan. So I'll leave that up to you guys. I'm just hoping to get Europa League. Wow, that's a new, because I think most people in this chat, or most people that have been messaging me also on Twitter, it seems like people are torn and would actually prefer to sit out any European competition next year, sort of reset. They seem to be envious of what Napoli have been doing, given that they ended up 10th last season, and this time around they could just chill and play once a week, and that seemed to work for them. I don't know. I mean, listen, Europe is so important for Roma financially. It's just, for me, it's always Conference League or Europe. At this point in time, it's been a long time that we've been in the Champions League, man, and I don't know if I can feel happy if we get anything but the Champions League. It's almost like it's this forbidden fruit that oh man, it's been so long, and you just want to get back there, and you can't. And so whatever else you get instead, yeah, sure, it's fine. But I mean, we've been there, we've done it. It's okay. I would love to, it's 5 years, 6 years. I mean, I think I did the podcast for one season when while we were, yeah. It was the first year that we did the podcast together that Roma were in the Champions League the last time out. So it's been a long time. It's been a long time. It would be awesome to be able to comment on Roma in the Champions League, but I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon, guys, to be honest with you. Vincent, do you think this was the nail in the coffin for Pellegrini? It's getting a bit old, but he really isn't improving. I don't know if this particular match is the nail in the coffin. I said it before. I think with Pellegrini, it's the final weeks, and it's not even about the performance. It's about the feeling. It's about the feeling. And listen, he gets a shot to be in the starting 11 for Roma in a derby. That's great. But that's not a clear sign of what we want to do with him in the future. I think that this situation with him will only get resolved at the end of the season, with his agent meeting face to face with Roma, and probably suggesting that his client moves elsewhere. So in search of more playing time, in search of, I don't know, a reset. Yeah. Let's see. To Pellegrini, I say thank you. It's been fun and it's been real, but it hasn't been really fun. Respect, but there is no coming back. Amos. That's very polite. Yeah, absolutely. Maybe that's what Florent Ghisolfi will tell his agent. Roma have done well, but we are still not a top team. There is improvement under Ranieri. Which coach do you think we should go for? That's the $1 million question, Jerry. I don't know. I don't know. I don't. I'm so tired of all these names that I've become almost allergic to analyzing this situation from like a subjective point of view. Like, who am I crazy about? Am I crazy about Gianluca Gasperini, Giampiero Gasperini? Sorry, am I crazy about Stefano Pioli? No. Am I crazy about Vincenzo Montella? No. Am I crazy about Massimiliano Allegri? No. Uh, I can only say that I just want this thing to be over with. I want the name. I want to know who it is. That's it. Anything happens, I'm gonna judge it in the long run, like with everything. I was willing to give Ivan Juric a shot, just like I was willing to give Daniele De Rossi a shot when everybody was like, oh my god, is it gonna be cool? I mean, what's the plan with Daniele De Rossi coming in here with zero experience? I was willing to give them a shot. So whoever comes in, I'm willing to work with. I mean, I'm willing to work with what Roma are offering me as a fan. Um, but do I have a preference? No, right now, no. Florent Ghisolfi said before the match that they've narrowed down the list to a few names and they want to close the matter soon. Yeah, my Warriors and the fucking Clippers are tied late in the third quarter. You know, I'm doing so many things at the same time that I forget about basketball, which is a shame because I really love my Warriors, but that's not nice. We always have a problem with rebounding, so I wouldn't be surprised if the Clippers are crushing us on the boards. When was the last time Roma scored a screamer from open play like that Sule goal? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It really that's what I mean when I say that that's really one of the most beautiful goals that Roma scored in a derby or in recent years. Really, it's so impressive. It's wonderful. The way it hit that crossbar went in, just a special goal, and it's not a coincidence. Sule can do these things. We've seen it in the past. Glad Ranieri still has his undefeated record against Lazio. Good thing to end his career on. Yeah, it would have been amazing to have a win, but that's also, I mean, to be able to walk out of this city undefeated in the Derby della Capitale for any coach, that's huge. That's legendary stuff. Following the last two games, what position would you want to strengthen, and what kind of player, assuming Dybala is back and not? I think we can always do better in the midfield, honestly. Always, 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 always. Um, I like our wingers. I like what we do on the wing, but I do think that depth there is very important. We brought in Salahedin, sure, but I would another winger and a midfielder is something that Roma are already working on. So we see it come up in the media that those are areas that Roma are working on to strengthen the midfield. Another winger, it's something that they wanted to do. We know that in January they were targeting various players, but in the end they settled for the kind of profiles that they brought in as a compromise. But those are the areas that I want Roma to, and it's going to happen again because, as I mentioned in the live stream, we're most likely looking at a summer where the likes of Cristante and Pellegrini leave the club. In all probability, that's going to happen. So I think that's Roma's priority right now. It should be. I get that everyone wants a break from European competition, but having a season without facing teams outside of Italy makes me sad. No, I absolutely agree with you. Roma have been doing amazing in Europe. Roma have always found that extra motivation in Europe. So we know what they can do. We know what Europe means to us. It's been our saving grace in recent years. The problem is, as always, whether you have the finances to continue to add depth, to continue to add quality, to sustain these competitions, and exactly whether you have the energy to deal on so many fronts at once. It's so complicated, so difficult, so challenging in the long run. It always starts off, oh yeah, we can do it, and then I mean, but then it doesn't mean much, you know. I don't know if it means so much. Honestly, you look at Napoli. That's a team that, despite being so high up the table, they've had plenty of ups and downs, even with someone as experienced as Antonio Conte. Um, why? Because even playing once a week, if you don't have the necessary depth, if you don't have the quality, if a player like Farah leaves and you have to come up with an alternative, it's difficult. And it's going to be difficult no matter who you are. At the end of the day, fan base forms the club. We have low standards, and so is the quality of the club. Yeah, I mean, listen. We are all gathered here supporting a team that, in all of its history, has won a few scudetto. Okay, that's we don't have an endless supply of scudetti. We don't have an endless supply of trophies. We are not, we're not exactly the most ambitious and wealthiest of clubs in Italy, but you know, I do agree with you that there is definitely some connection between our standards, what the club is trying to do, the ambitions over the years. I mean, it's like that, and that then influences the way the team plays, the attitude that is around and within the team. Absolutely. It's you know, the players talk about playing for Roma and playing in the Derby. Even today, there was, you know, there was an interview with Evan Dika. He gave an interview to L'Equipe right before the Derby, and he's, you know, when they asked him about what's it like to play the Derby in Rome, he said it's great and it's terrible. Like, it's, the fans are so passionate that it's good and bad at the same time. That everything gets blown up, that everything gets talked about, that everything becomes so full of pressure that there's no letting up. You just don't have ever a feeling of being on a break. You know, it's not, it just doesn't happen in this reality. The environment is so passionate, so saturated with this incredible passion to do something, to just to rejoice, because there's not been that many occasions to do it, that it can have its ups and downs. It can stimulate you, but it can also put so much pressure on you that it risks crushing you in the long run. This team seems like it's about a 6th or 7th place team. So more or less what we've been doing for the past 6 years. Organization seems crap, from no CEO, sporting director, or on the hot seat, no sporting plan. So how do you even choose a coach in this environment? Christian, I don't know. I think there's, you see, that's the thing I don't agree on. That's the thing that I don't think um, there is definitely, listen, there is definitely I think a plan. There is a plan. There's always been a plan. Since the Friedkins came in, there was always a plan. Whether you realize that plan or not, that's a whole other thing. Whether you encounter obstacles, it's another thing. I do think that what the mistake over the years for the Friedkins has been is that they've always been very decisive, very determined what they wanted to achieve, but they've always had to share this vision with people that were operating on different levels, you know? So they get someone like Thiago Pinto, but Thiago Pinto doesn't really work if you have someone like Jose Mourinho at the helm. You know what I mean? So, and that happened time and time again with Lina Suluku and De Rossi. And so in that sense, yes. At the same time, I do think that the individual pieces, the individual moves were correct, except for appointing Ivan Juric and then trying to pass him off as the long-term solution. That was obviously bullshit. And we all know that. But overall, there is clearly, listen, if there is no plan, someone like Ranieri doesn't come. I can assure you. Because someone like Ranieri, who's 73, he's sitting at home, he's watching Don Matteo with his wife. His wife is making him, you know, I don't know, a matriciana, a nice big plate of a matriciana, juicy guanciale on top. And, you know, he gets a call from the Friedkins. If there isn't a serious plan behind that phone call, a man like Ranieri is not coming out of retirement for that. So, and also is not willing to stick around in the longer run. So let's see, because maybe this summer will also hold a lot of surprises from that standpoint. The CEO will get appointed, has to be. Florent Ghisolfi, from the way he's speaking, he will be confirmed. I think there's been just a lot of talk about him for no reason at all. Because there always has to be talk. So I guess Florent Ghisolfi, like Tiago Pinto, he's the outsider. Italian media, they don't like outsiders. They like Italians, and so that's that always influences the way the media talk about someone like Ghisolfi. And I do think that, given the evident constraints that financial fair play is uh, is inflicting on us and will inflict on us this year and the next year as well. Um, you have to hold on to the sporting director that you have, and you have to have a concrete sporting plan. So we will see a lot of changes this summer. Happy to see Sule get a great goal after where he was in the beginning of the season. Absolutely, Duncan, I agree with you. Also, thought that the yellow shown to Paredes after 5 minutes was a bunch of crap. Well, yeah, Sotsa is not exactly a good referee, but then who is in Serie A? Vincent, it feels like we have had problems with the midfield since the early Mourinho days. Feels often it isn't connected with the rest of the squad, which is a shame because the midfield in and of itself has plenty of quality. Kone and Paredes are a wonderful duo, and we've seen that time and time again. But it really does feel a bit like mm, they're just floating on an island, and it's everything else is cut off. It doesn't flow the way we would like to. I think there is a piece missing there. I think that's what Roma are trying to find, and they've had a lot of trouble finding that piece, that extra midfielder who can make life easier on you. Whether that was Enzo Lefe, I don't know, but you see what I mean. That's what who we are looking for. We're looking for a link that can make guys like Kone and Paredes thrive even more. It's harder to win in Italy if you're not Juve, Milan, or Inter. Yeah, story of my life. Dovbig's first touch needs so much improvement. Yeah, but that's what Ghisolfi said before the game. He said, when Dovbig is at 50, 60% of his potential, if he's at 80 or 90, he's the best striker in Serie A. And you know what? I have to agree with him. It's like that. You see that Dovbig has an unbelievable range of skills. He's got such an incredible physique, can do so many things while protecting the ball. And in reading the action, but at the same time, he's quite clumsy. So that will eventually come to him. It's difficult. Not everybody can be as stylish as Edin Dzeko was, and even Edin Dzeko could be clumsy as hell. So if we don't start making Champions League in the next few years, I can see ownership selling club, concentrating on Everton and blah, blah, blah. Okay, Duncan, but let's not think about that, please. It's almost midnight over here. I got a 7 a.m. flight to New York tomorrow. I can't talk about the possibility of the Friedkins giving up on Roma right now. Even all the points Artem has brought us, but damn, I understand he doesn't get the quality passes or whatever he got in Girona, but the man has to try harder. He's been a ghost. He's been a ghost more often than scoring goals. Well, you take the good and the bad. You take the good and the bad. Really, it's like that. I mean, it's with someone like Dovbik, you bring him in for a huge fee, but every league is different, and you more or less know what you're signing up for. I never thought that Dovbik would come in here and start scoring 30 goals a season. That's why I think on the occasions that he scored, I've been very happy for him and about his development, because those points are heavy. Those goals are heavy. That's and not everybody can do it. Not Romelu Lukaku, who a lot of people seem to be comparing to Dovvic. The Romelu Lukaku wasn't doing what Dovvic has been doing this season for Roma. What are our chances, Andy, for Europa League now? Well, I mean, I guess they're pretty good. Just the Champions League is going. That's the ship that I'm concerned about. That's what I'm focusing on. But I see that a lot of people have different ideas about what they want the team to achieve. So it's fine. I think we got a bit too close to the sun, and I got a little bit too excited about Roma finally being in a position to compete for top four. Playing once a week, being able to rest, to prepare, and it got the best of me. I thought that even going into this derby against the Lazio side that had just lost to Bodo Glimt, I thought, hey, this is the perfect situation for Roma, for a Roma team that wants to finally put things together and to aim for Champions League. I thought this was the perfect opportunity for them, but I think that ship has sailed. Have to disagree on Friedkin selling us unless some monstrous offer comes from the Arab world. No way they give up on the cash they poured into this club, says Amos, in reference to an earlier comment. Again, these are things that I don't have the the energy to talk about right now. I'm sorry, guys. We gotta wait until we have the new stadium to be able to make a step up. The extra cash will make all the difference. Lawrence, preach, brother. But what year are we talking about? Because even Ghisolfi today mentioned 2028 as the year that the stadium will be built. So that's what the club are aiming for. But will that happen? I've seen so many dates. I've seen so many deadlines. I've seen so many timelines and projects, and oh my god, that I don't know. I don't think. I mean, we all know how huge a stadium would be for this team, for the ownership, for the appeal, for the success, both financially and on the pitch, for just the energy around the team. To have their own stadium would be huge. It would place you right at the top. But as long as we're talking about Italian bureaucracy, that we were talking about a fantasy. Dovvic will be better, even better next year. I do. I mean, I'm 100% convinced, guys. You can quote me on this. In a league where even Edin Dzeko, who was an absolute champ in Bundesliga and the Premier League, in a league where even a guy like that struggled finding his footing in the first season, I can give Dovvic time to get used to the way Serie A works. Shame we didn't get the result tonight. Once again, so close, yet so far. It's great being excited by some of our young players making important contributions. It's been some time since we've had that. Yeah, that's good. Very good. Nice way of looking at it. I do agree that it's always encouraging, to see a derby like this resolved by someone like Sule, who joins for a big fee. All the excitement is on his side, and yet the pressure just gets to him, doesn't get the opportunities that he deserves. In the end, he's able to work through the slump, convince the coach to bet on him, and it pays off. Wonderful. It's always very exciting when that happens. It's also good to see Wrench back from injury. Hopefully returns with the same energy as before. Yeah, it's a good addition to have. We're still waiting on Saud. He's still injured. We don't know when he'll be back. I still want Roma to be in Europa League. It might help in recruiting players and bringing in a bit of money. Sure. That's absolutely. I would say yeah. Okay. Let's say just yes. I mean, I do think that a lot of the appeal will depend on the next coach. Let's just put it that way. I don't know. And also the capabilities of the club, but I don't know how excited someone can be if you bring in Stefano Pioli. I'm just putting it out there. The media has been naming different names for the coach next season, but how do you feel if they somehow bring Daniele De Rossi back, considering the players have expressed how they loved playing for him? Massimo, I would be very happy because I think both parties have learned a lesson. I do think that De Rossi wasn't without fault to begin the season with. I said it in the previous live stream. It's unacceptable the way Roma started the season, and it starts with De Rossi, who wasn't able to get them ready during preseason. But I don't think that's a reality. I don't think that's a possibility of De Rossi coming back. Sad to say, but I think Pellegrini's time is up at the club if we actually want to change Alessandro. And I actually think that his agent agrees with you. I think they're gonna try and move him in the summer. I'm 17. I don't think the stadium will be built even when I have kids. Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it. Good luck. Good luck to us all. Um, I know he has quality, but in big games, Kone hasn't impressed me. Too sloppy sometimes. Really, I thought that against Juve, he was fantastic. I liked him against Juve. He's a. I mean, again, he's a really young player, so sometimes it makes sense for him to just get a bit too excited about holding the ball, about trying too much stuff, and it's fine. I have been positively impressed by him. There's definitely room for improvement. Claudio Ranieri will be the first one to agree with you. He's pointed out so many times that Kone has incredible potential, but there's still some fundamental things that he has to learn. Ranieri always asks him to basically do the things that he does with France, and I think that's a good way because Kone has been very impressive with France. Thanks, Andy, for your efforts. I appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. It means a lot. It's as I told one of our patrons. I feel like I'm spinning a lot of plates right now, so I appreciate the support. Kone has Kante levels. This guy can be very important in the future. Yeah, that's what Roma brought him in for. That's sort of the entire plan for Roma right now is to focus on guys like Kone and Sviar and Tommaso Baldanzi, Sule. Those are the contracts that Roma want to have in the long run. Kone has been quietly my favorite player this season. Really, even better than Sviar. I would yeah. I mean, I would say Kone, Dika, and Sviar are undoubtedly mine as well. Name the new stadium after Andy and John. Well, then it will never get built. Never. And given the fact that for as long as we've done the podcast, Roma haven't qualified for Champions League football, you don't want to name a stadium after us. Trust me. It's not good. It's not good. So, well, guys, I think we got a bit of an idea of what's at stake here. What's at stake is that Roma are. I don't think they really met this situation the way they should have. You know, I don't think they played with the kind of urgency that we expected them to play tonight against Lazio. I think we felt it. We felt that there was an expectation of the team coming out playing against the direct competitor for top four. But just like in the match against Juve, it was too slow, too sloppy, too timid, not enough, especially after the equalizer. It just was not enough. And so, in hindsight, a draw is fine, but not at this particular moment in time, not with only 6 games to go in Serie A. I do believe that the Champions League has sailed away. We are waving it bye bye. So we will have to see and hope that Roma can maintain this rhythm going into the final weeks of the season and beyond. There has to be the expectation has to be to play and stay undefeated. That has to be the bare minimum. If you're gonna let the Champions League slip once again away from you, you have to keep at it. You have to be consistent, and you have to strive to at least preserve the dignity that prevents you from losing against Juve, against Lazio when they go up. So, in a season that sees us go undefeated against the likes of Juventus and Lazio, these are not too bad of a results. The problem is it's not enough in this particular moment in time. Guys, Thank you, as always, so much for supporting us. If you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, please do so. Click a like button on this video. If you like what we do at Roma Press, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/Roma Press. I will bid you farewell today. Thank you so much for joining me wherever you are in the world. We truly appreciate all the support. And we'll see each other here. Until next time. And as always, Forza Roma.